Back to Real Talk, the show where we sit down with real investors, doing real deals, and break down what's actually happening in the market. Today's guest is someone who has not only closed a ton of deals, but he has also mentored dozens of others who do the same. And he's also a best-selling author, sales coach, and the founder of the Partnership to Success training. So please have the opportunity to welcome Aaron Schlag. Aaron, thank you on the show, man. Those who don't know, can you give us a quick rundown about what you do and how you got into the real estate investing game?
Yeah, so I do a number of things, Dion, and I would say that I am a student of life first and foremost, and always looking to optimize every aspect that I do, all the way from business and real estate to communication, and then, of course, working in sales, as you could say. But I wouldn't say I work so much in sales as I do just helping individuals find their path to success. Real estate being that, obviously, a lot of times, because that's been my experience, and I see most individuals with success, that is usually a path that they involve, whether it is active or passive, is real estate. So 11 years ago, coming from a background of working in construction, hard work, it was always an important part of my life. And so a shift for me was going from hard work and channeling that into smart work, right? And that's where I discovered real estate. And I said, this is a powerful tool, powerful vehicle that can get me where I want to be to change the trajectory of not only my life, but also generations below me, or above me, I should say. And so when I discovered real estate, my first deal, it made me $3,000. So that was enough for me to say, I believe I can do this, and push all the chips to the middle and gamble on myself. And I didn't just do it blindly, but I did it by surrounding myself with amazing people. And fast forward 11 years later, hundreds of my own transactions, and coaching over 300 students myself. That's where I'm at today, and I'm still growing. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh, thanks so much for the breakdown, Aaron. That actually helps a lot for our viewers as well. So obviously you have done like a lot of, from flipping houses to coaching students to launching your partnership programs. What would you say has been the most game-changing mindset shift in your journey so far?
A couple of things. When it comes to the most game-changing mindset shift for myself has been believing in myself, surrounding myself with the right people. So making those shifts that change everything, to finding real estate and realizing how powerful that vehicle is. And so whenever I made the shift to realize that I can do anything I set my mind to, as long as I pair that with knowledge paired with strategic action, that's when my life took a major turn.
That's amazing. And I mean, and it's a little bit about your book. It's about the Partnership to Success. Why did you build this? Like, who's it actually for?
I am a contributing author to a best-selling book in regards to overcoming anything with the right mindset, essentially. And that has been an integral part for me. Obviously, I am a big believer in God, and I believe that with having that foundation of faith has made a huge difference in how I operate, paired with the mindset of realizing that we all face hard things. My background, I didn't come from money. I didn't come from a millionaire mindset. I came from hard work and great ethics, but I did not have a millionaire mindset. And so when I initially faced hard things, my first reaction was to rely on God. That was my mind. And then I had to realize that it was more than that. I had to also have that ability to just overcome those things in my mind and not let challenges identify me as a failure or a success, but realize that that is going to just build me if I allow it to. What we face, we can't always control others' reactions, but we can always control our actions. And so that really made a pivotal shift in how I approached business and life, was controlling my emotions, my reactions to negative situations, so I did not have a negative outcome. But then also, how am I going to build on that to become better in my real estate business, in my coaching, and just in life?
You know, when it comes to the wholesaling game, like we do mention that you can close deals with little to no money down, right?
Yes.
So could you actually walk us through how we can do that in today's market for our viewers?
Yes. So I'm actually negotiating a deal right now. I was just on with my acquisitionist. We were discussing a deal that we're negotiating right now with no money down. And so walking through a deal like that, it kind of starts at the beginning, which is your lead flow. Mm-hmm. And I always tell someone you've got two different paths with lead flow. That is quantity or quality. If you have quantity, you're usually cold calling or doing outbound typically, right? And so
Yep.
you're looking for that one in 100 that has pain, has a situation that we can solve. And for your listeners out there, some of them may be new, like how in the world is that possible, Aaron, to buy a house with no money down? Well, I will tell you it's very possible. I have done many of them. And what I will say is it comes down to looking for that situation that there's a solution that can be presented, that it requires no money down. And so what that looks like is, I mentioned quantity versus quality. If we're dealing with quantity leads, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people and get told no a lot of times before you get to a yes, right? Because not every situation is going to be solved with a seller finance, no money down structure, right? And then there's others that do. And so it is about finding those situations. Now let's go to the quality. If we're doing paid leads and they're strategically targeted paid leads, you're going to talk to you're going to talk to very many less sellers to get to a yes and you're going to have less no's. And so it's about setting expectations up here. And then importantly, asking the right questions. Whether it's in sales, whether it's in real estate, it's all sales. It's about asking great questions, right? And then coming up with a solution that's a win-win. And when that's particular that I'm looking at right now, there's quite a bit of equity on the property, but the seller's needing to move rapidly. They're okay with waiting on their money. And so it's about asking the right questions, creating a solution, realizing they can get more later with a delayed cash out than they're going to get now if I pay them all cash. And so presenting that properly. And then, of course, underwriting the deal. When you're underwriting a deal with seller financing, you have three potential profit centers. And that is when you've purchased a house with no money down, you're going to have an opportunity for a profit center on the front end, which is getting a non-refundable option deposit, which is a down payment from a buyer. You're going to have monthly cash flow, which is above what you're paying on the monthly payment to the seller that you bought from. And then you have a back-end payday where when it cashes out at some point in the future, you're going to get a payday there. So it's a beautiful structure. And what I will tell your listeners out there, it is about not having blinders on, saying that I'm only buying seller financing, but becoming a transactional engineer in the sense that you can say, is this a wholesale deal? Is this a fix and flip deal? Or is this a seller finance, no money down deal? And then secondly, how are we going to exit this property? What's our exit strategy?
Amazing detailed breakdown. So I hope our viewers actually got to learn from Aaron. I think that's basically how he does it, and that's how we can do it as well. And one of the things basically when I was like looking more into your content, when I talked to Corner, basically where they all say is like you are very direct, especially when it comes to your coaching, especially when it comes to the realistic expectation. There's no like fluff or there's no like big things which you add on top of it. So what do you think would be the biggest lie like new investors are being told, especially when they are going into the market?
Yeah. So two of the biggest lies that I know you asked for one, but they're kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum is that this is easy. All I'm going to have to do is just start making calls, which that is true to some level, but you've got to make sure you're saying the right thing and you're talking to enough people. The second one is that it's so hard that I can't do it, right? Because anyone can do it. I am proof of that. I'm not exceptionally smart, but what I did is I surrounded myself with exceptionally experienced individuals. And so, the best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And so starting now, taking action, but taking strategic action. And so those would probably be the two biggest lies that I taught when I talk to a lot of new investors that they believe. One side of that spectrum.
It's like you just got to do it instead of just waiting. Right. Yeah. And obviously, I know you use closer control, especially to scale, to follow up when it comes to like pipelines, automation. How important do you think systems like closer control is helping you in this real estate journey?
Yeah, so it's been critical for me. I've used a lot of different CRMs, and they've all had their positives, and then they've all had their negatives. I've started using Closer Control several months ago, and I already had a successful real estate business, was already processing lead flow and deals. And when I came into Closer Control, of course, I had a great conversation with Connor about my challenges. One of them was my follow-up, right? And so at the end of the day, having a system that will allow you to follow up when you're sleeping or when you're running other aspects of your business is critical, because most deals are not closed on the first contact. It's going to take multiple touches. And so having a system that is automated at some level, there's still going to be some work that you or your acquisitions needs to do yourself beyond, but having a lot of those pieces automated where people are getting followed up with is critical. And also being able to track where they are, that's also equally as important. And so having that in place, it was a game changer for my business. And then another key that I want to point out and why I love closer control is the accessibility to someone that knows what they're doing, that can make the call to help me with whatever I'm needing pivoted. I actually just reached out this morning to the team because I'm needing some assistance on my side with my team, making sure my automations are dialed in on dripping on some of my existing leads. And so just having that accessibility to someone that is going to be able to call the shots and make things happen for me when I need them in a CRM is equally important. I want to go back to something though, because I'm going to speak to some of your listeners that are maybe new, that are thinking about getting in. I always tell someone, you've got to get in where you fit in business and real estate. What I mean by that is there is some new students that come into real estate that they want to buy CRM, they want to buy all of the best leads, and that's okay. But we want to get you to the point where you are getting fuel for that new shiny engine that you're purchasing, right? So if you have the bandwidth to be able to start by putting all those things in place and you have the ability to get a mentor, then yes, you should do that. However, the most important thing is to get your first deal, right? And at that point, then you start putting these pieces in place, making sure you have the right people around you, just like Connor, the closer control team, Dion, your team. That is important, but we've got to make sure we're taking it in the right steps and not getting, I'm a country boy, not getting the cart before the horse, as we say in the country.
And obviously, like, it makes sense. Like, having a mentor, having a coach does help you make less mistakes, and it's always good to have someone guide you, especially in your first few steps. Yeah. So one of the things I was actually noticing about like your programs was like you actually offer deal partnerships inside your programs, right?
Yeah, so I have done that in the past, and this is part of my journey, Dion. I have done many things. I have done coaching one-on-one. I have done partnership offers in my life as well. And so a lot of times there's challenges whenever a student comes into business, into real estate, where there's like, where do I get the money? Where do I get the expertise? And so on and so forth. But those are like the two biggest ones, right? And so that is something I have done in the past. At this point in my journey, I no longer do that because I want my students to keep their deals. I want my students to keep their profit. But that is something that I have done, and it's been a benefit to those around me. And so at the end of the day, speaking to your listeners, what we want to see for you, whether that's partnering with someone like myself that has access to capital, access to connections, or whether that is just aligning yourself with a coach that can pick up the phone and help you close that deal to get you the best deal possible, that's important to have that. And what I will say is there's a lot of coaches out there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there's some that's not so good. You've got to find your tribe, Dion, and that is finding those people that align with your morals, your ethics, your character, as well as just communicates with you and that you mesh with, for sure.
Before we wrap up, what's actually next for Aaron Schlag? What can we expect for the next 6 to 12 months?
So I've got some exciting stuff going on. Right now, I'm building another single family portfolio. So excited about that. Just upping my cash flow, upping my net worth, and assisting myself in tax benefits, all those things, right? Doing an exciting commercial development that is in the works right now. But those are the things that I have going on right now. It's just about building, growing, and impacting as many people as I can. And it's a fun journey. And that's the mindset. And I want to speak to your listeners on this. When I first came into this business, I was looking for a destination. What is that number I need to hit? What is my freedom number, right? And that's important to get to. But then when you hit that, then you're like, okay, what's the next level? And so when I made that shift to say, okay, I'm not looking for a destination, but I'm going to embrace this journey and create as many wins as I can along the way for everyone around me, that's whenever true success really started finding me. I
think that's like one of the best things I ever heard today. So Aaron, I appreciate you a lot for being here. So guys, whether you're just getting started or scaling your real estate game, Aaron, this guy is building actually real momentum and giving people a chance to grow with him as well. So obviously, if you're interested in partnering and learning more, or basically seeing what system he uses, you can always reach out to Aaron to know more. So Once again, thank you guys for being a part of Real Talk with Closer Control. And thank you again, Aaron, for being here with us here on the show today. With this, we're going to end our call. And thank you. I'll see you again next week with new episode with new investor stories. Guys, stay tuned.